Hello folks, we've got something a little bit different for you today. We're not doing Pokemon Go live streams, we're not playing Pokemon Go or anything like that. We have got a video game collection to show you guys. I've always grown up loving video games. My first console I owned was a Commodore 64. Or first computer I owned, or should I say, was a Commodore 64. I especially remember Chucky Egg. I loved Chucky Egg on a Commodore 64. I also remember the sequel, Diary of Adrian Mole. There was a Jimmy White, I think it was Jimmy White snooker game on a Commodore 64 that I used to play all the time. So that was my start in computer games. After that I went on to a Super Nintendo, which is what we're going to talk about today. My sister had a Mega Drive, which I played a lot. After that, probably went on to a PS1. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I owned every other Nintendo console, but I didn't have an N64 at the time. I did go on to buy an N64 later on in life, but I never really got into it. I only bought it for Mario Kart. I never liked Mario, Super Mario 64, any of the other games really. I never really played on the N64. I was never a fan of shooting games, so I never played GoldenEye. So that was that generation. We obviously had the PS1. I got the PS1 for my birthday in '97, I think it might have been. That came with Tomb Raider 1, Tobu Touring Cars, the first V-Rally, Premier Manager 98, which I absolutely adored that game. That was the first football management simulation game I ever played, and I still own maybe 3 copies of Premier Manager 98. Absolutely love that game. You can whiz for a season so fast, doing matches in 30 seconds or a minute, and you can also do instant result on Premier Manager 98 as well. So I absolutely love that game. What else did I get? I got Heart of Darkness as well, which is a 2-disc 2D platformer. I've never really got that far into the game, but a few years ago I did get onto the second disc of Heart of Darkness. Awesome game, one that I really need to play more. Get back into playing Heart of Darkness. Awesome game. After the PS1, we didn't have a PS2. I did have a Sega Dreamcast. I got that my birthday for Christmas one year. I got Sonic Adventure, the first Sonic Adventure. I got WWF Royal Rumble, maybe WWF Attitude. I got with that, and some of the ECW games as well. Always a big fan of Sonic Adventure. I did actually try and play that the other day. I've got the Dreamcast collection on the 360, so I tried to play that on the Xbox One, but that game unfortunately isn't backwards compatible. So after the Dreamcast, we had an original Xbox. Never really got on with the OG Xbox, not a console that I was massively into, but I got that. I had an Xbox 360, never really played that either. Then we went on to a PlayStation 4 and didn't have an Xbox One. My girlfriend's got an Xbox One and played that a little bit on and off now. And I've got a Nintendo Switch, really into the Switch, love Mario Kart 8, just completed the new Pokemon game, Mario Maker 2 is awesome, so I love the Switch. That's what kind of we're up to the latest generation of games, so kind of a brief history there of what consoles I've had through the years. But this video, as I said, is going to be about the Super Nintendo, as it was known over here. And we're going to go through my SNES collection, what I've got left, let you know which games are my originals, what I had when I was a kid, what I've subsequently bought over the years. Super Nintendo definitely probably is my favourite console, certainly from that era. It's one that I always go back to. I mean, I always go back and play Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, and Super Mario Kart, Street Fighter as well. So yeah, always been a huge Super Nintendo fan. Still am to this day, still play the SNES online on the Nintendo Switch on that app, so that's awesome. So the first game then that I'm going to show you from my Super Nintendo collection is Donkey Kong Country. So there we go, Donkey Kong Country. This was one, I always had this as a kid. I'm not sure if this is my original copy, but it's a game that I could get to a certain point in and then just kind of gave up. I always remember the level with the carriage going through the mines. I thought that was awesome. The big squirrel rat thing with all the bananas down the side, that was a cool level. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. My cousin was absolute killer at Donkey Kong Country. If I ever got stuck, go to her, she'd finish that level no problem whatsoever. No matter what level it was, she would absolutely smash it. Donkey Kong Country, yeah, cool game, but one that I was never that good at, so I never really put that on the level of Super Mario World. Next up is Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja. This I think this is the same game that I had, but mine one was the American release, which was this kind of cartridge. So the square type cart. I had that one. I absolutely loved Joe and Mac. Again, a game that I never finished, but I got probably quite near to the end, but it gets pretty tough. But Joe and Mac, absolutely awesome game. Love the character design, the enemies. So WWF Super WrestleMania is probably the first wrestling game I ever played. It was obviously pretty basic, which is there was no kind of career mode or tournament mode. I'm pretty sure there wasn't anyway in Super WrestleMania. This is pretty sure this is the original. Actually, no, this isn't the original card they had. I don't know what happened to my original, but I remember buying this back, maybe from eBay or from a game shop not too long ago. I did buy it box complete. I've got the manual somewhere, but the box is gone now. But Super WrestleMania, I mean, on the front there you got Macho Man, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hulk Hogan, Sid, Legion of Doom. You had the Natural Disasters on there, which was one of my favourites. Growing up as a WWF fan, very basic games, pretty much kicking punches, no signature moves or anything like that in there. But WWF Super WrestleMania, my first foray into professional wrestling games. Then we'll go now to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This was absolutely multiplayer gold on the SNES. I remember playing this with a lot of my mates at the time. A lot of the kids lived down our street. There was loads of them. They were all my sort of age. We all grew up together, and most of us had SNESes. So, I mean, this was one of the games. Street Fighter 2 at the time was absolutely awesome. We used to smash out multiplayer on Street Fighter 2 all the time. Got some great memories of that. Dude, that's really the only Street Fighter game I think I've ever played. I've never gone on to play other Street Fighter games, like in the PlayStation days. I never had Street Fighter then. I always had I remember playing Tekken 3 to death. I had Tekken 3. Mega Drive Fighters, I used to play Pit Fighter, which I did have on the SNES, which I've not got on the SNES anymore. Love Pit Fighter, so I've never really played any other Street Fighter games apart from Street Fighter 2. I know there is a Street Fighter collection on the Switch, and there's also got another Street Fighter 2 game, the Last Challengers. I'm not sure what that is, I've not looked into that, but if it's anything like Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, that's worth checking out. Nigel Mansell World Championship. This is not a game I had as a kid. I picked this one up a couple of years ago. That was again another box complete one when I was on my rampage of just buying everything, and a lot of SNES stuff in box. This is actually in really good condition. There's no yellowing on this. I don't know if you can see that. That's awesome. Yeah, so that one's in really good condition. Nigel Mansell World Championship. Good little racing game. I've not played it that much. Played it a few times here and there, a couple of hours maybe. But from what I played, it's pretty good. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Outrun. Obviously not the same game, but the way it just handles reminds me of Outrun a little bit. So, big fan of Nigel Mansell's World Championship. I didn't have many racing games on the SNES. I only actually had Super Mario Kart, I think. So it's cool to get another SNES racing game to see what that was like. Next up then we're going to have Super Mario All-Stars, which is obviously just a collection of all the Mario games. Now with this, I never owned Super Mario All-Stars as a kid. I always had Super Mario World. Mario All-Stars was the game that my cousins had. Obviously you collect Mario on there. You've got the first Super Mario, Mario 2, Mario 3 and Super Mario The Lost Levels. Yeah, I was never much as a fan of this as Super Mario World. Super Mario 3 was a good game. I did enjoy playing a bit of Super Mario 3. I still do go back and play Mario 3 every now and again. The first one as well was a pretty cool game, Super Mario 1. Again, that's another one that I always kind of go back and I've never completed any of these games on here, but I did go back a while back and play the first Super Mario Brothers, and did get quite far into it. I think I got onto the last world, maybe even to the last couple of levels, but I never quite managed to finish that. Mario 2 was one I just didn't play, and Mario The Lost Levels I never played that either. So Super Mario All-Stars, good game, good collection of games on there. You could get a good price. You get a lot for your money, full games on it. But I was never played a lot of Super Mario All-Stars as a kid. Super Tennis. This is an interesting one. This was one I did have as well. I don't know if I had it or if some of my friends had it, but I do remember playing quite a bit of Super Tennis as a kid on the SNES. Again, more multiplayer fun. You can't really go wrong with tennis, even up to like the Wii stuff. Tennis on Wii Sports, I used to love that. So I do like a good tennis game. I remember just playing this for hours and hours, all the different courts, all different characters, trying them out. And yeah, I used to have a lot of fun with this as a kid. When I was at school, all my mates, we used to play a bit of Super Tennis. Bulls versus Blazers and the NBA playoffs. I did have this on the SNES, as you can see, and I do have still the Mega Drive version of Bulls versus Blazers. Sometimes I was never particularly good at this. I always used to get the, I think it was travelling thing, where you run in and you're not bouncing a ball or something. I always used to do that and just mess up. I was never very good at this game. Always one that I wanted to be good at, because I used to quite like playing the basketball games. I still do now, enjoy a bit of basketball. But yeah, Bulls versus Blazers in the NBA playoffs. Cool game, one I've never really got into, but I'm pretty sure this is probably my original cartridge that I had. I can't remember rebuying that. The Lion King is next up then. There we go. I'm pretty sure again this is my original cartridge, and to be fair, I don't know if you can see that, it actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure I didn't rebuy the Lion King. This was another one that I can get a certain distance into and just gave up because I just couldn't do it. The bit where you jump onto the drafts and you got to swing off the off the monkey's tails. I used to get so far into that and then just give up because it used to frustrate me. I don't know if the Mega Drive version of the Lion King is the same as this. I've never played that. That might be something that's worth me checking out if it's different. I might enjoy that. So yeah, Lion King again, another one that I've never really put a lot of time into. Animaniacs, which definitely wasn't my original cart. There we go, Animaniacs. Such a cool game. I don't think I've watched the cartoon Animaniacs, but the game is so cool. I met just walking around the big map, doing all the bosses and everything. Yeah, it's another one that I do play every now and again, a bit of nostalgia. Not one that I've ever completed. I'm trying to take the sticker off that, but it's going to rip the sticker off the cart. One I've never finished. I remember there's a boss with like a little policeman. I might even be the first boss, and you got the waterfalls going up and stuff. That was cool. Oh yeah, I always liked Animaniacs. One that I always remember fondly on the Super Nintendo. We go now to Aladdin. Somehow ended up with an American NTSC version of Aladdin. I don't know how or where I got this. Well, actually, no, I do know where I got this from. It's in good condition. It's nice and clean. I did buy this. I think I got this for Christmas maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago or something. I always enjoyed Aladdin on the Sega Mega Drive. I've got a couple of football games now and then 2 Mario games. So the first football game is International Superstar Soccer. This is not one that I remember having as a kid. I think I might have played this a little bit. I've got no memories whatsoever playing International Superstar Soccer. For me, if you're talking about football games on the Super Nintendo, there's only one football game that you want to be talking about, and that is this one. Ryan Giggs' Champions World Class Soccer. Absolutely awesome game. I love this. I actually was playing this the other day. It's a lot more difficult than I usually remember. I remember one time we were playing with my cousins, and for some reason one of them had never played Ryan Giggs World Championship Soccer, and you can obviously set your formations and set the goalkeeper to automatic, manual, or whatever the other option was. And we set his this is my cousin's cousin, so it wasn't my cousin. We set his settings for his goalkeeper when he was looking to manual, and he didn't realise, and we just absolutely smashed him and scored loads of goals, and we probably got in trouble that day. But that's a cool story, one I always remember. Playing this Ryan Giggs soccer game on the SNES. This is out on the Mega Drive as well. I've never played the Mega Drive version, so I don't know how that compares to the SNES version, but I'm pretty sure this is probably my original cart as well. Always a game that I do go back and play every now and again. Remember this fondly as well, playing multiplayer with my cousins and stuff, doing the tournament. So we have a bit of Ryan Giggs on the SNES. Before we get into the last couple of SNES games that I've got, we've actually whittled down this. I had a lot more SNES games, but I've just sold them recently because I just don't play them and they're just sat there. So my SNES collection was a lot more than what you see here. Just quickly pile them up there. I mean, how many games have I got on the SNES now? 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 SNES games. It was, I probably maybe sold probably close to maybe 5, 10 SNES games. So I didn't have a load as a kid. This is pretty much everything I've got here was what the games I had. I don't think there's anything that I haven't got that I did have before. I do remember playing Wayne's World. My cousin had Wayne's World. That's a game I do want to get back. One that I didn't own, but I did play Wayne's World on my cousin's SNES. The scope thing, they did have it. My cousin also had the Nintendo scope. I didn't have one. That's something again that I'd like to get back. And apart from that, I don't think there's anything else on the SNES that I owned or played back in the day that I don't own now. So probably just those two, just the scope and Wayne's World that I can think of at the moment. I do want to get the Hurricanes game. I've watched a few clips of that on YouTube recently. I did absolutely love the Hurricanes cartoon. So that got me thinking recently, I might check out the Hurricanes game on the SNES. So that's one that I'm looking out for. We do have this adapter that allows you to play, I presume, Japanese and American games. So we've got the Aladdin, American Aladdin, so you just pop that. I can't remember which way around now. You can do it in the front, or just put it in the back. Yes, you put the import game in the back, you pop the regular game in the front. I'm sure you all know this. Then you obviously just pop that into your SNES with that game in the back, and you can play the import games on that. So that's awesome. The only one I ever used this for when I was a kid was Joe and Mac. I'll put a picture on the screen of the Joe and Mac game that I did have as a kid. I'm pretty sure this one, Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja, is the same game, just the UK version. I can't remember, I haven't played this one for a while, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. And then we've also got a very, very yellow looking Super Game Boy. This is not my original Super Game Boy. I must have gone and, oh actually we bought this, oh no, this was at some point, bought for £10 in, unless it was chips. We did have a chips in town, so maybe that's where I got it from, or I might have bought it off eBay and someone bought it from Chips. It's showing back there, the sticker, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so that was bought for £10 at some point from Chips, but I do love the Super Game Boy. I remember I sprained my ankle maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe even a bit longer, maybe 6, and I was playing Pokemon Red non-stop. I did play a lot of it on the Super Game Boy, absolutely loved that. I mean, playing this the other night, playing Dr. Mario, Tetris, and Super Mario Land 1 on the Super Game Boy. So something I would definitely recommend. You can play all your Game Boy games on your SNES through your big TV. It's awesome. I'll never be without a Super Game Boy. And then the last two Super Nintendo games, can you guess what they are? We'll leave that one till after. That was my favourite, probably my favourite game of all time, definitely my favourite Super Nintendo game. And before we get to that, it's going to be the original and probably the best Super Mario Kart. I don't think this is my original copy, but very nice. There's no yellowing on that at all. That looks very good. Super Mario Kart is a game I absolutely loved as a kid. I said this to my girlfriend the other day. I remember playing Super Mario Kart, and at the time I was a big F1 fan, so I must have been late 90s. Maybe I was about 10, so maybe 95, 96, 97 sort of time before I started senior school was when this happened. I used to be obviously a big F1 fan. I used to be a big Super Mario Kart fan. So what I used to do was I used to name all the drivers. So Toad was Michael Schumacher, or whatever, Jacques Villeneuve was Donkey Kong, or whatever it was. I used to do a little championship, keep track of the scores for each driver, and basically I had Super Mario Kart as an F1 game with all just keep track of all the scores for the drivers as if they were F1 drivers, and do a little championship of my own. So that was awesome. I remember doing that on Super Mario Kart. I've been playing this again recently on the Switch again, on the Switch Online service. Was absolutely awesome. It was like £3.79 a month. You get the SNES online, you get the NES online, and you can play like Tetris and things like that on there as well. I've got to the 100cc. I've got to the last cut. I've finished second a couple of times, 2 points off finishing it. So then I think once you finish that, you unlock the 150cc. Doing very close to doing that, so that's something I want to go back and do again, is try and finish off this on the Switch. Yes, do love Super Mario Kart. So many good memories of this. Played this game to absolute death. I've only really used Toad. And you guys know me, know I do love Toad. My favourite character in Mario Kart is Toad. I've been playing Mario Kart 8 a little bit on the Switch again as well. I do start off with Toad. I was experimenting a little bit with different characters, but Toad's the man for Mario Kart. And then the last game, well, probably my favourite game of all time. I've owned this on so many systems. I did own it on the Game Boy Advance. I've recently just sold that, so just got it at so many places I don't play that version. I had it on. I do have it on the DS on digital download. I've got this version as well, the original kart. I did have a SNES Mini, so it was on there. Play it on the Switch. See, this game's absolutely everywhere. I didn't have the second one as a kid, but this one, I absolutely adore this game. And what is it? Of course, it is Super Mario World, the first Super Mario World. Absolutely love this game. I'm not sure if this is my original. It's got a bit of yellowing on there, so it might be a bit of yellowing on the back as well, like here. I can't remember if this is my original, but it very well might be. I wouldn't have sold Super Mario World unless it broke and I replaced it. This is the original. I did have it in, I think there was 2 boxes, and as one was the American and one was the UK release. I think one was yellow and black, and one was all red. I do have a manual somewhere. I don't know if the manual's the same, but the manual was yellow and black. But I'm 100% convinced that my box was the red one. I mean, this was before the days of the internet, so to find all these secret exits in Super Mario World and all the hidden exits and the keys and stuff, I don't know how I did it. Some of them, if you don't know they're there, you're not going to find them. I played this with my girlfriend, and I've played it so much I know where every single exit is. It's ridiculous. I played this game to death as a kid, and it's just insane muscle memory or whatever it is, but I don't forget where these exits are. But if you're playing this new and you don't know where some of them are, they're going to be very difficult to remember. The one, you've got to go down and swim underneath the thing, so it looks like if you drop down you're going to die, so you swim down and underneath, and then the keys like up underneath the platform. You would never find that. If you would never drop down there and swim under there unless you knew it was there. So Super Mario World, I mean, I've completed this game so many times. I absolutely hate the Star Road. Some of them levels are insanely difficult. I mean, it reminds me of the stuff that you do on Super Mario Maker 2, which people are evil on Super Mario Maker 2. Some of those levels are just impossible to beat. But I had so many hours playing Super Mario World, and never get bored of this game. I'll go back and play this at least once a year. I'd say I'll go back and play Super Mario World. I need to play it again, really. We're in a new year now, so I need to play some more Super Mario World. That is absolutely 100% my favourite game of all time. Anyone asks me, I will say Super Mario World is my favourite game of all time. Super Mario Kart will be in that list as well. Probably the top 2, my 2 favourite games of all time. What memories I have of Star? I just have so many great memories of playing the Super Nintendo. I never had a NES as a kid. I remember I used to go around, I think it must have been my mum used to get a haircut, and we used to go around this woman's house, and her son had a NES, and we used to play on that a bit, play Mario 3 and stuff on there, while my mum was getting a haircut. For some reason, I'm convinced he didn't have a Mega Drive, and to this day I'm convinced he had some kind of knockoff Sonic game where you could play Sonic 1 on a NES. 100%. I believe that to be true, so I remember that clear as day. That's all the games I have for the Super Nintendo. As far as other memories of the SNES are concerned, I remember my mum probably was Super Mario World. She used to stay up when we were really young. We used to have to go to bed, and she used to stay up with my auntie playing Super Mario until whatever time in the morning. And she always said to me last week when I went round, she said, I used to get stuck, and he used to do it for me because I was always a whiz at Super Mario World and the Mario games in general, Mario Kart. So yeah, that's kind of my little overview of what I've got for the SNES. Actually, I didn't even show you my console, did I? The SNES, actually, do you know what? The SNES is up here. So we'll just whip that out quickly. Right, there we go, we've got it. Yeah, so just kind of been redoing the bedroom around a little bit so it's easier to watch TV in bed and stuff. We've got the PS4, the Switch, and the PS2 on there. We can play some Premier Manager 98, of course. But the SNES is up on these little boxes just here outside. So this is my Super Nintendo. Is this my original SNES? I want to say it probably is. I mean, again, like with Super Mario World, I wouldn't have sold my SNES. I would have replaced it if it was broken. So there's not really any yellow. It's a bit scuffy and a bit dirty, but there's no great yellowing on that. So I want to say that it might even be my original SNES. We've got obviously the two controllers there. One of them, this one, I think I got this from my cousin years ago. They got rid of their SNES and didn't want it anymore because people have Wii's and all that sort of stuff now. But this controller is broke. If you look at it here, that pops in. So always makes me chuckle when I see that, because I always remember where I got this controller from my cousins. They had a random SNES controller knocking around, knew that I liked old games, so they just gave that to me. So that was awesome. There we go. I never had the gun or anything like that for the SNES. So something I want to get. This one's a little bit yellow on the edge here, a bit worse for wear on the back and stuff. But yeah, that is all I've got for the Super Nintendo. So thank you very much. If you did watch this video, let me know down in the comments if you guys have still got a Super Nintendo, what games you've got, what games you did enjoy as kids. Any recommendations for games that I don't have that on the SNES that would be worth playing? I am looking to pick up some more SNES games. I do absolutely love the Super Nintendo, but I never really delved into the library. I just kind of stuck to these games here, really. Never when I got anything else or tried anything else out. So if you've got any recommendations for stuff, unusual stuff that I might want to play on the SNES, whack that down in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. If you did enjoy this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and hopefully we'll be doing some more game collections in the future. I've got a bit of Mega Drive stuff. I can go through all my PS1, PS2, things like that. My PS1 and PS2 stuff is all out of cases in CD folders. I don't know if I've got one lying around, but they're all in. Oh no, here we go. So they're all in these sort of CD cases because it's just for ease of storage. And I've got about 8 of these, and big ones as well, just full of games, DVDs, and all sorts of stuff. So they're all in there just for ease of storage. So yeah, if you did enjoy this, let me know again down in the comments what's worth checking out on the SNES, and we'll catch you in the next one.